Hi everybody, my name is Matt Hernandez. I'm a sports photographer from Kentucky, and I'm also a Westcott Top Pro. And today I'm going to take you through a quick tutorial on how to shoot a subject on their green screen and then use a program called PhotoKey 6 to extract the subject and composite them into a custom background. And this is our final image right here. So I will tell you, before we get started, I did retouch these images for the sake of the video so it could save time. I didn't want to have to go through that. So there's the raw image, and retouched in Photoshop of the subject, and then the raw image of the field, and that's also retouched in Lightroom 5 and Photoshop. So here's my lighting setup. I chose this setup because they match perfectly with the stadium lights. I've got 3 strobes, each with a 7-foot parabolic umbrella from Westcott and a Westcott green screen about 5 feet behind them. I love those parabolics because they have a high output and the spread is great, so you can do action shots with athletes when you're doing compositing work. So let's get going here. Okay, I exported both of those retouched files into a folder on my desktop as TIFFs, and I'm going to click on the foreground first and drag it into PhotoKey. And PhotoKey is going to automatically knock out that green screen background whenever you import it. And it's not sized right, so I'm going to go to Canvas on the left, and on the toolbox on the right, on the preset, I'm going to go to as foreground, and there it's going to resize it. Okay, so it looks pretty good, but I want to be sure, so I'm going to go up here to full color and click on foreground alpha. That's going to show my mask. You can see there's some ghosting going on here, and the background's bleeding through on the bottom. So what I'm going to do to fix that is I'm going to go over here to Key on the left, and then I'm going to go down to Matte, and then Clipping Background is the first option. I'm going to click that and drag it to the right, and you can see on the bottom left that background's going away. Same thing with the foreground. I'm going to go to Clipping Foreground, click it, drag it to the left till that ghosting is gone. Right there. I'm also going to go down to edge color. I'm going to do subtract by 1 pixel, and I'm going to go to alpha blur, and I'm going to blur everything on the outside edge of the mask 1 pixel. That's going to help it blend in a little bit more. Now I'm going to click on foreground alpha again and go back to full color. Okay, so now we're ready for the background. So I'm going to go to import on the left. Make sure in the toolbox on the right I'm on background, on the background tab. Click import, and then I'm going to import my background file that I exported. And it was shot with the D3S, and the subject was a D800, so they're different. So I need to resize. I need to crop the image and resize him. So I'm going to go to Canvas on the left again, and then preset, I'm going to select as background. So it's going to crop everything to the background, and then I'm going to go to position on the left, and then this is going to help me resize him. I'm going to click in this box here and drag up, and it's going to make him smaller until I get him where I want him, and I'm going to drag him to the left. And there we go. Okay, so that's a good start. Now, after I do that, I can tell that there's a little bit of more work I need to do. There's some white fringing on his arm, and there's some green in his hair here with the background showing through, and we obviously don't want that. So I need to fix that. So I'm going to go back to Key on the left again. I'm going to go down to Spill Suppression, Spill Method. I'm going to select Extended, and watch his hair right here when I select this. Now it's gone. So now we've got a pretty darn good extraction and composite already, but I want to take it a couple of steps further. So I'm going to go to Filters on the left. You don't want to do too much here because it can kind of look kind of grungy and gross and be too much. So I want to pick a couple things that I'm going to do to help blend this. The first thing is Hue Colorize, because I feel like his skin has too much magenta in it. So I'm going to click that. I'm going to select 30 for my hue. That's going to give it kind of a goldish hue, and then the strength at 30, and there. Now I'm going to turn it off. See, there's before and there's after. It kind of gave his skin a lot warmer tone, a lot warmer color temperature there, kind of a golden look. Now I'm going to go down to Vibrance, and I'm going to select 10 for the radius. It's going to add some color contrast to that. And there's before and there's after. I'm going to do the same thing to the background because we're blending these together. So go to Hue Color Ups first, 30 for the hue, 30%, Vibrance, 10 for the radius, and we'll leave the rest of it alone. Okay, so we're on our way now. I'm going to do a couple more things. I'm going to go to Effects, click on Bleach Bypass. It's going to be way too much to start out. So I'm going to click in the contrast here and make it 0.4. I'm going to change it from 1.5 to 0.45. And the saturation I'm going to bump up from 0.8 to 0.95. I'm going to add some more color back into it. And then I'm going to go down to Tint. I'm going to select Bronze as my method, and I'm going to make it 25%. And there we go. So that looks great. There's a couple things I need to fix in Photoshop. His face mask looks like it's broken because he had a visor on it that knocked that green out. And then the ball is a little bit transparent right here in his glove. So I'm going to go to File, Export Canvas, and I would save that into my folder here, which I've already done. So I'm going to close this out. I'm going to go to my folder here where I've got him exported, and I'm going to click on him and drag him into Photoshop CC, and I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to press Shift Command N to make a new blank layer, and then press B for my brush with a pretty hard edge. And I'm going to sample this face mask right here by pressing Option and clicking, and then I'm just going to paint his face mask back in right there, just so it doesn't look like it's broken. Right there too. And then I'm going to I'm pressing spacebar to bring my hand tool up. I'm going to move over here. I'm going to press S for my clone stamp tool, and and you can hold Control and Option and slide to the right or left to make your brush bigger or smaller, and then up and down to make it harder, up to make it softer. So I'm going to make it kind of in between, and I'm going to make it small and sample here with my brush, and then paint in the ball right here, just so it doesn't look transparent. I'm going to do the same thing with his glove right there. One more thing, I'm going to press Shift Command N. Again, for a new layer, I'm going to select soft light from my blending mode, and then click this box right here to make it 50% gray, so you can't see it. You can go to normal, you can see it, but I've got it on soft light. I'm going to go to Filter, Noise, Add Noise. I'm going to add 20% noise. It's a little bit too harsh, as you can see, so I'm going to go to Filter, Blur, Gaussian Blur. I'm going to blur at 0.5 pixels for my radius, hit OK, and I'm going to press 7. I'm going to press V first for my move tool, and then set the number 7 to make my layer over here 70% opacity instead of 100, so I can make it a little less harsh. So there's my final image. Grain really helps blend composites in at the end, like kind of a finishing touch. So I'm going to flatten this, and this is our final image. Very quick and easy, and I'm just blown away at how great this program did. I did not expect that. I was very skeptical. I've always done my composites in Photoshop, but PhotoKey, I'm definitely going to find a way to incorporate that into my everyday workflow for composites, because it did an amazing job. And I'm probably going to do a couple more short videos on the retouching process for the field. See, there's before and after. And for my subject, there's before and after, before I brought those into PhotoKey. So stay tuned for those on my website, matthernandezphotography.com. I've got all my social media links on there too. So that's it for today. Thanks for stopping by. I hope you guys learned something.